Hello and welcome to week 3. So we are moving right along with the different theorists, and I have to tell you that I'm really enjoying your journal entries, and I hope that you're enjoying them as well. The main reason that I'm having you do journals as a weekly assignment is because for so many of us, we have heard the word theories. We have been taught about the different theories almost ad nauseum in this field. And I really wanted this course, especially as you're at the end of your program, I really wanted it to be something that you feel like you can finally take that information and make it personal and applicable to you. I know that I've said that before, but I just can't stress how important I think that that is, especially when it comes to theories. It's great if we can spout off all of the information about Montessori and Piaget and Skinner and Erickson, but the fact is that unless we truly understand what it means in our personal context, it's just a bunch of names that we were forced to memorize. So hopefully having you do these journals is helping you really look at each theory as an individual theory instead of as a group, and also to figure out what things do you agree with, what things do you not agree with, and having to figure out in the context of a theory in general, what makes a theory strong, what makes a theory weak, why has a theory withstood the test of time. Those things are really important as we are developing our own personal philosophy of education. And our philosophy continues to evolve every time that we are in the classroom, every year that we are in the classroom, because children are different. New information becomes available to us, and especially in this age of technology, that throws a completely different aspect into looking at how children learn. So, with your journals, just remember to answer all 4 of the questions. The questions never change. I'm always going to ask you to summarize in 1 paragraph what the theory says. I'm going to ask you to give me the strengths of the theory, the weaknesses of the theory, and then how you can personally apply the theory in the classroom. It is perfectly okay to say that you are not going to apply a theory in your classroom simply because after analyzing it, you've decided that it doesn't fit with what you personally believe, or it may not fit with the group of students that you're going to be working with. So it's totally fine to say that you don't think that a particular theory is going to work in your classroom. Just make sure you tell me why. And again, the more work and the more detail you put into your journals, that final paper where I'm asking you to kind of pull together the different theories and make a personal application, it's just going to be so much easier because you've already done a lot of the writing ahead of time. So last week we looked at Maria Montessori, which was very familiar to most, if not all of you. But this week we're moving on to the theorist that better be very familiar to all of you because it is Piaget. And that is the name that we have heard from the beginning of our educational journey, and you're going to continue to hear until you're done in the education field, because he definitely kind of was the father of child psychology. Which is why he's talked about not just in the educational world, but also in the psychological world. So the information that's in the chapter may not be new to you. What I really like about this particular textbook is that now that you're at the end, we're not spending quite as much time getting in the weeds as we do in some of our introduction to psychology and introduction to education courses, but really we're just kind of focusing on his theory, critiquing it, analyzing it, and trying to make personal applications to it. So if you look in this week's folder under Piaget, you're going to find a lot of the same things that you've seen each week. There is a document for you to read, The Construction of Reality in the Child. And then here is your PowerPoint. There are actually 2 PowerPoints on here because one of them is about the theory of the mind, which is definitely something that Piaget was a big proponent of. So you have your journal here. This week there is a discussion board. So as I told you at the beginning, there's only going to be about 5 discussion boards throughout the course. And so this week you do have one. concerning Piaget. So make sure that you answer the prompt and respond to at least two of your classmates so that you can get full credit. But the reason I asked you to look at this particular question is because, as we all know, Piaget is a stage theorist. So he believed that children progress through different stages. He was very specific in the stages, the ages that children go through. So based on his theory, he is saying that children have reached their full cognitive development around the ages of 11 and 12 when you get to the formal operational stage. My question to you is, especially those of you who are going to be working with middle school and high schoolers, well, what does that mean? Does that mean that we're done with our cognitive development? Does it mean that there's different types of stages within the formal operational stage? But this is a really good thing just to kind of consider and reflect on and do a little bit, a cursory amount of research on to see what other people are saying about this. Because I think that we would all agree that I hope my cognitive development didn't stop at 12. But based on Piaget's theory, he is saying that we have reached that around the ages of 11 and 12, and it takes us through our adulthood. But if we really are reaching that final stage, in our early tween years, then what does that mean for the rest of our adult life? So just kind of something for you to think about, but just don't forget to respond to at least two of your classmates with more than great post in order to get your full credit. And I did put two videos in here for you this week. One, this is a short video that just kind of shows you what each stage looks like. I am definitely a visual learner, so being able to see that this is actually what concrete operational looks like is something that is going to stick with me more than just reading it in a book. And then this is a video. It is a little bit longer, so don't feel that you need to watch it all in one sitting. And again, these are for your just extra supplemental viewing to go along with the textbook and the PowerPoints. But this really is Piaget talking about his theory and showing you some of the examples of the task, like the conservation tasks that he would use as he was developing this theory. So I think that's kind of interesting to see, especially from the person who actually developed the particular theory. So that really is all that we're looking at this week. Piaget should be extremely familiar to you, and hopefully this is just going to be a good review, but again, a chance for you to really kind of dissect it and figure out if it's something that you are going to use in your classroom or not. So don't forget that your What is a Theory paper is due by the end of this week, so just upload it through Blackboard by midnight on Sunday. And hopefully you've already chosen which theory or theorist you're going to be doing your book review on. Again, you have quite a bit of time to get that done, but if you can at least go ahead and figure out which theorist you want to read more about and go ahead and get the book, then it's just going to give you a leg up so that you're not quite so stressed at the end of the semester. So that's it for this week. Next week we will move on to our next theorist. So I look forward to reading your theory papers, your journals, and your discussion board posting on Piaget, and I will see you next week.